It's 4:54 a.m. on the 7th of June. I've been awake since about 2:30 this morning, and I have to work at 7. And I've been pondering on this for probably the last hour and a half, 2 hours. On how to say it. I learned a few things about myself yesterday when I went to therapy. And her. Learned a few things about her too. A while back I figured out that I also have anxiety issues, not just depression. Go figure. But yesterday I figured out the reason. And the reason is because I overanalyze, I overthink. I weigh out a zillion outcomes, and when I start that process, that thought process, I usually go with the worst feeling first, which is quite common. Not just the worst feeling, but the worst possible outcome. And then some time passes, and I end up going towards the more realistic conclusions that could come about based off of everything. And I can actually use my anxiety as a playing field to figure out what the fuck I want to do. That's a positive, right? There's a couple things I learned about her. How can she care about my mental health when she don't even care about her own? Please tell me my fucking battery didn't die. There it goes. She has this vision, or this perception of reality that everyone is thinking terrible about her, or thinking all these bad things, which in turn is going to make her think about bad things, because that in itself is a bad thing to think about. And that's probably why I keep telling her she needs help, man. It's not to say that she's crazy. I mean, do not ever get that twisted. Just because you see a therapist does not mean you're crazy. It means you have some problems that you're trying to deal with that you don't know how to do by yourself. That's what that means. I think some of you motherfuckers would be surprised at how much of a problem mental health has become in this country by itself, I'm gonna turn my fucking van on. Hold on. Yeah. Mental health in this country is really, let's see if this lighting works. I have a crack in my fucking lens, so the light refracts in different ways. That sucks. I don't even remember what I just said. Oh yeah. And nobody cares about it. Nobody cares about your mental health, and they don't even weigh in the factors in their policies that they create. I'm talking about prisons. I'm talking about isolation. People who have the isolation part in place. With your jobs. Jobs are terrible when it comes to that. They don't weigh out circumstances that have to do with what the fuck is up with my brake. What? What do you even mean? I don't know what that was about. I think I'm having some electrical issues with my finger. Seriously, it's on some possessive shit. People have different circumstances in their lives where they may not be doing so well in the mental department of things. And nobody gives a shit. They don't care that you have a family that just basically dissolved. They don't care that you might lose your kids, or that that's a big fear of yours, so you might have to take some steps in order to prevent that from happening. They don't care that you need to be home with your kids at certain days because there's nobody to freaking watch them because you and the mother work. Yeah, I definitely got some electrical issues going on. This shit's been getting worse too, for real. There was a video a while back that had the freaking brakes, or not the brakes, the dinging, and I couldn't figure out what it was because there's nothing popping up on the dash. I need to get the diagnostics thing done. Eventually it's gonna get light enough outside where I ain't gonna use that fucking thing. But I don't even know if I want to. I've said this before, but I don't even know if I want to do these videos because I know that it's probably hurting her a little bit, at least. But I'm not with her, so why should I compromise my own mental health and my coping skills because she doesn't have any? You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes any sense at all. I keep telling her, man, she's gotta get help because it's not because of me. I'm more worried about her. Like, this is gonna blow up in her face. She's done so much in her power to avoid feeling, to avoid emotion, to numb herself, and whether that's by keeping herself busy, whether that's by avoiding me, because I actually think that I get through to her for the most part, and she just don't want to hear it no more. And that's why she leaves, which is fine. But another thing I learned was that's gonna blow up in your face. Eventually it will. And the longer you drag it out, the longer you wait, the more it's going to blow up in your face. Because you're not dealing with it. You're not really dealing with it at all. You think you are. And you think you are. And you think it's going to be fine. And it will be if you stop avoiding it. God, that's a beautiful sunrise. You have to take your addictions and put them in a different area of your life. You can't keep using the same coping skill if it isn't working. It's not working for you. You run. And I have plenty of room to talk about this because I did it. For many years. Ran. Anything gets shitty? Run. Get away from it. I was a pussy. I mean, plain and simple, a pussy. Because I couldn't fucking I couldn't fight it. I couldn't face it and try to cope with it in a way that would work for everyone, including myself. Now I've grown to be able to do that ever since You know, I've gotten sober. I've started to build those walls back up, and it's happening at a faster rate now because I'm seeing a therapist. I think that has a lot to do with it. I think these videos are going to have a lot more gaps in them because I need to think about these things more before I start spitting words out, because there are things that if there were people who really were malevolent in nature and wanted to try to sabotage me, they could go through every little video and they could put pieces together, you know, and use that against me. So I will think a little harder on how I want to say things before I post a video. That way I can say it in a way that doesn't hurt anybody, or at least doesn't compromise what they want by exposing what they don't want exposed. That's all I got for right now, guys. Thanks.